just non-partisan, Dear patriots and change agents,
God bless you.
welcome
My
to
name
the
is
Nigerian
Ito.
for this weekly virtual town hall, where renowned thought leaders and engaged citizens come together for meaningful discussions that spark ideas, promote responsible leadership, and advance good governance for our beloved nation. Hosted by Pastor Ibadin, President and Founder, this series reflects his vision, which is to promote the emergence of real, ethical, and accountable leaders for good governance, not just in Nigeria, but across the continent. We are a non-religious, non-partisan, non-political organization powered by people just like you, individuals whose vision align with ours to drive sustainable development across Africa. At the Africa Empowerment Foundation, we believe Nigeria's diversity, our cultures, ethnicities, and tribe is our greatest strength. Through initiatives like the Ito Olajide Godalo Real Mentorship Program, project management courses, and the Civic Awareness and Citizens Engagement Programs, our School of Leadership and Governance offers stellar opportunities in leadership training, capacity building, and social development. Under our community development initiative, projects like Feed a Neighbor, Feed a Nation have reached over 2,000 families facing food insecurity across 6 states. Our recently commissioned Hope Alive Fund is designed to empower and support entrepreneurship in underserved communities. In collaboration with civil society partners, we are building a coalition for participatory governance that works at the grassroots level to strengthen good governance and effective friend, and let's grow together. The Nigeria Leadership Series Town Hall, building leaders, celebrating unity, and shaping Africa's future. See you again next Thursday at 5 p.m. right here on Zoom. Nigeria.
Good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Nigerian Leadership Series. Can you all see me?
Your head, you need to adjust your camera so that we can see your head.
Okay, let me see.
Okay, you are okay now.
Okay. I'm coming, let me see. I need to adjust the wall. All right, great. So you are all welcome to another series of the Nigerian Leadership Series. Unfortunately, Pastor Itwa might not be able to join us at the moment. I think he's in transit. If he's free, he will be able to join us. So my name is Sonny Enebi. I'll be standing in for him. We welcome our guest, Mr. Ibadin. It's a great pleasure to have you here. Today, once again, we're going to be discussing one of the most topical issues in Nigeria today, and that's the issue of the state police. It has become one of the most debated issues in Nigeria, and somewhat controversial, needed, but everybody has a voice. And so today, to help us lend his voice to that matter, is a security strategist and expert, Mr. Matthew Ibadin. He's the executive advisor and certified private investigator. He's also an author. He's an executive trainer. His work focuses on policing, security governance, intelligence, leadership crisis management, risk management, and institutional resilience. All right. He served as Deputy Commissioner of Police Spy and has devoted, well, he did. I'm guessing he's retired by now, sir. Yeah. He served as Deputy Commissioner, sorry, and he was in the spy department.
Spy.
He's very spy, yeah, I know. Spy, like secret police. Yeah. And
supernumerary police.
Okay, supernumerary police. All right. I'm also a spy police, so okay, that's all right. So we are colleagues. You are my boss. Mr. Ibadin holds a degree.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
It is well. Yeah, he holds a degree in political science, Bachelor of Science in Strategy, Security, and Administration from the Nigerian Defense Academy. He has so many other accolades here. I will just crave his indulgence. If there's anything I have left out that is important, maybe in your introduction, you can let us know more about that. So today's conversation is very important, like I said, and it concerns all Nigerians because security has been one of the toughest issues. I make a confession. I voted against Jonathan, simply because of the security issues, and I thought Buhari was going to be able to deal with it. From that time, security has been a very, very tough issue. And it is something that is very important to most or many Nigerians. A lot of people will vote on the parameter of how secure they perceive that a president is able to guarantee or not. And many of us, and I dare say many of us, voted for Buhari because we thought that's his first tenure. We thought he was going to secure Nigerians better. But and state police has been an issue that has been very debated in Nigeria today. It has gained a lot of momentum. So I would start by asking our guests, Mr. Ibadin, what exactly is state policing? How does it differ from the current centralized policing system that we have? All right. And do you believe that we are ready for state police? If yes, why? If no, why not? Let's start from that premise. If you can break down what state policing is for us so that we can have our conversation right. Today we are discussing state policing, the pros and the cons. But before we dive into the principal conversation, can you help us break down what state policing is, what we're expected, what should we be expecting if state police does come into play? You are muted, sir. You can unmute yourself.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And I'm very, very delighted to be part of you to discuss about national issues that regard to national security. And I believe that we are trying to have a kind of a searchlight on how we can solve the problem that confront our nation.
Yeah.
First of all, I will say that the current police system we have, I do call it single DG security architecture. That is the kind of architecture we have today in Nigeria, whereby all powers are concentrated on exclusive list. Just to give you a background, for the fact that the current security situation is the police structure today is on the exclusive list. Under federated units, there are three categories. We have exclusive list, we have concurrent list, and we have residual list. It is only the federal government that can formulate and translate policies on exclusive lists. So that means only the federal government, it is called the Nigeria Police Force. So it's owned by the federal government. So we also have what we call concurrent list. That concurrent list, it is the state governors that formulate and translate policies into reality. And if you go down again, we have what we call residual list, where we now inculcate the local government to be able to have local policing. Like, for example, in America, these tiers of government are well defined in the sense that we have county police in America, which of course is under the purview of the mayor. And we also have state police, which is under the purview of the state governors. And we have the federal police and FBI and the rest of it. So why are we actually clamoring for state police in Nigeria? If the current police structure is working, nobody actually cares. What matters most is about security we need in Nigeria. So that is why Nigerians are clamoring for state police. As somebody like me too, I'm also clamoring for state police because they say crime is local. So the differential is clear, as I said. The power of the federal government is on the exclusive list, while the power of the state governors are on the concurrent list. So therefore, the difference is crystal clear in the sense that whenever there is a crime in any state, the purpose of why we are clamoring is this. Whenever there is a crime in any particular, let's all hold that governors accountable instead of calling the IG in Abuja or calling the president in Aso Rock. So therefore, there is a disconnection between how police work and how we practice it in Nigeria. So that is why Nigeria is clamoring for state police. It's even beyond that, it's beyond border. I am clamoring for local government police. Hello? Hello?
Yes, I'm with you.
Oh, I thought you were talking, so I wasn't very sure if you
No,
were.
no, 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 no. It's
Okay.
okay. I'm with you, sir.
So what we are looking for is to how we can hold local government accountable. Let me give you an instance. In America, when there is incidents in Manhattan, who do you see on CNN? Is the mayor of Manhattan. That is the first defense of the people. But in Nigeria, who do you see? You're looking for the Special General Police to come and solve the problem for you in Victoria Island. This is where we got it wrong. So this is why people are saying no, because the policy is far from the people, because crime is local. So we want to hold the local government chairperson accountable for policing in their own domain. So this is why we are clamoring for state police. That's why Nigerians are clamoring for state police, because the current structure is not working. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's very good. I mean, thanks for saying that we have operated this centralized structure, I believe, for almost 60 years now. And I believe that before we moved to the centralized structure, we also used to have what they call something like the regional police, in those days. And there must have been a reason why they centralized it. And that has worked for a long time. But all of a sudden, it's not working again. Maybe it's no longer fit for purpose. So a lot of people have raised a lot of questions about um, the pros and the cons of state policing. What, in your view, do you think are the strongest arguments in favor of state police? How could the policing improve security at the grassroots? Because let me make this distinction. I think the National Assembly have passed the law to amend the Constitution. Now there's a presidential committee on the framework of how it's going to work. And those guys are like going out to get memorandum from people and how it is going to work. So I don't know if you're aware of that. And if you are, what do you think? How should it be structured? They've made a lot of question, relationship between state to federal, and all the gamut of it, minimum standard for recruitment. What is going to happen in all these instances?
Okay, as we are speaking, Nigeria is roughly a week away from the deadline for presentation, or rather submission, to the Presidential Working Group on the National Police Bill.
Yeah.
And that deadline is on the 13th of August, which is this month. And having said that, if you agree with me, you know that on the 11th of this month, of June 2026, the House of Representatives passed a constitutional amendment to establish dual federal police and state police. On the 24th of this month of June 2, the Senate also followed suit. And the House of Representatives also passed Executive State Police Bill, which took place on the 23rd of July. So the draft bill goes to the president on the which is going to go to the president on the 2nd of September. And only that the House of Assembly will ratify the constitutional amendment. And if you ask me, so let us first of all be precise, because a lot of people are already speaking as if the state police exists. They do not. They do not.
Okay.
What exists today is a constitutional permission and active drafting process. That's we are actually discussing today and see how we can actually also make our input before we can make that to happen. So if you ask me, what we need to look at is critically clear, and people are actually wondering if there is a will they can make sure that the state police is not being weaponized by the state governors, which of course they are taking care of all those fears that governors could turn state police into a political opponent and using them against them. There are some school of thoughts that are scared of that. And second one have to do with fragmentations of fears that they might use it to see how they can pipeline marginalization and the rest of it. There also the school of thought talked about the funding fear. If the government, the state governor will be able to muzzle the power, to be able to muzzle the financial capability for them to be able to actually fund the state police. So these are three school of thoughts in Nigeria today. To me, if you ask me, the purpose why state police is very essential cannot be overemphasized. As I said earlier on in my introduction, I said the present structure we have is on single-digit security architecture, whereby it's only the federal government who formulate and translate policy into reality. Why we need it is crystal clear, that the people have to, the ownership of security have to be with the people, because the people, security belongs to the people. As I said earlier on, also we have what we call, like they said, the crime is local. So what we need to do as a people is to support the bill so that it can work effectively. So to me, state police is the way to go. Because I remember sometime in June, early last year, I wrote to President, Mr. President. I said, since Shagari regime, we have never had intervention for the Nigeria police force in Nigeria. Since Shagari regime, till date, that is where the problem lies. The democratically elected government focus on the military alone. Everybody is aligned in Nigeria police. If they cannot fund Nigeria police, let us now give it back to the state so that they will be able to help Nigerians to liberate themselves from the shackle of oppressions, and also see how the ransom Nigerians are paying today is so high. there's an estimate that said that Nigeria will pay almost 2.35 trillion naira for kidnapping, which is real. And this is within a year framework. So imagine this money paid to kidnapping. If we use it to channel it for the state police, you will find out that Nigeria will have a sense of belonging.
All right. Okay. That's fair enough. I think everybody is we are all agreed somehow that the state police is needed. Now is to look at the operationality of it. And I'm aware, like you said, the bill that was passed by the National Assembly, okay, is to amend the Constitution. The both chambers of the National Assembly have passed that bill. So what is left now is to go to the states for them to amend it. And if they do, then we have the approval. However, a presidential advisory committee has been set up on the operationality of the state police, headed by Mr. Gbajabiamila, and they have a website, and they are about 16 thematic areas which they are calling the public to provide memorandum on. And what they are saying is that they want to create minimum standards for those that will be recruited into the police, their operationality, okay, the funding, and all those structures. And then they have 1 month to submit their report to the president. Thus, they are submitting their report to the president on September 7th, September 5th or so, thereabout, about a month from now. And people are like, the time frame is too short. If you want people to participate, why not give us a longer time? In any case, the state houses of assembly are still going to pass the law before we can even begin to talk about operationality. Why do you think they are rushing it? You know, because the argument in the public space now is really, you guys are rushing this thing. Why are they rushing it like that? They don't want to give people like yourself who are security experts to be able to engage them properly on what they need to close out. Why?
I think because they are rushing it is based on the fact that Nigeria's security atmosphere is tense up. I must confess to you, in in all the whole political zone in Nigeria face insecurity today. That is just the truth of the matter. We have a lot of travel risk and the rest of it in everywhere. To me, there is no perfect document in the world. And I believe the truth of the matter is, yes, people like us be able to submit our draft to the committee so that they can look at. And but I also believe that they could actually call a kind of a stakeholder meeting so that we can make an input, which is very, very crystal clear. But however, if you ask me, there is no better document, as I've said. And frankly speaking, the Nigeria Senate and the House of Rep done justice to the bill they passed, because my fear was based on the fact that most of the governors might actually use it as a form of a witch hunt. But when I see what it passed, you find out that really the reverse is the case. And even though you give us another 5 years or so, we will never have a state police. If you ask me, frankly speaking, this is the first time in the history of Nigeria where we have a president who will be able to say, okay, let us have a state police, because some of us are being a critics of the government. Because if you cannot protect the people, let there be a devolution of police system in Nigeria. So, but however, that doesn't mean that they cannot do it in a very right manner. But if you ask me, the timeline is okay, and they have not been able to come up with we are still submitting our memorandum to them, and Nigeria is still talking about the way to go, how for us to be able to articulate it, to make it a reality. But if you ask me, frankly speaking, the timeline is justifiable, because as we speak today, you will not be able to travel to many states in Nigeria, except you have to take a flight. So if governors come in, it will go a long way to actually add to the solutions on how they can prevent their citizens in their own state. If anything happens in their state, let us begin to call them out, to say the governor of Kaduna State is not doing well, or the governor is in Delta State is not doing well, or Lagos State. Let us hold them accountable. That is my own view on that.
All right, Mr. Ibadin, thank you very much for that. And I will ask this question and ask, is state police a silver bullet for all our security issues? I say this on the background of some of the issues you yourself have raised, whether the state will be able to fund it. Or are we just exporting the inefficiency and the uselessness of this national police to the states? Okay, the federal government is not taking proper care of the national police. The states themselves are not taking care of teachers, they are not taking care of doctors, they're taking care of nurses. There is nothing that they are doing well. So we are not going to give them state police on top of all of it. And these guys will bear arms. So aren't we just exporting failure and expecting a magic to happen?
No, I agree with you. It's part of the fear we are talking about. Frankly speaking, as I said earlier on, there is no perfect document in the world. Let me expatiate on this. For example, if you look at the document the House of Assembly passed, sorry, the House of Rep and Senate passed, it is crystal clear. But however, if you look at what is going on today, is this government impact power, there is no governor in this country who have not been able to pay salary or pay wages to their workers.
Actually there
No fairness.
there are people who
I
are
don't.
still not paying minimum wage.
Yeah,
There are states that
I'm
are
not talking
still
of the
not paying
present
minimum wage.
wage agreed upon. I'm just trying to say the
So I'm
current
telling
present
you,
wage.
there are states who are not paying 70,000. There are.
I agree with you.
Okay, yeah.
Minimum wage is for national, it's not for states. States have to pass their own minimum wage so that it can be defined. So
No,
it's
no, no,
debatable,
that's
actually. I understand what you mean.
okay.
Some states even pay
Go
more
ahead.
than 70,000. That's just the truth. I agree with you. What I'm trying to say, the current state governors are making a lot of money from the federal government, in all fairness. And the time has come for us to hold them accountable for the insecurity in their states. That is the bottom line there. However, the money given to them by the federal government, I think this is the time for them to use it. If they don't use it, the people will now begin to hold them accountable. I think that is the bottom line there. Some people might say, okay, I am scared though. What if they will not be able to pay? Yes, all over the world, security is not free. Security is not free. So, and we all also understand that what we are advocating for is crystal clear. Every meaningful decision, deployment, promotion, discipline, resources allocation run through a single national chain of command, which is headquarters, like what we have today. A community in Zamfara State is facing bandit attack, and the community in Rivers State is facing oil theft and court violence. So these are the problems we have. Institutions meant to support policing is what we are talking about here. If the federal government is capable enough, nobody will be saying give state governors a chance to do it. The truth is, even the state government, the federal government, all the institution that is meant for Nigeria police is not working. As I talk to you right now, this is the only country in the world where we don't have national crime database. The crime I committed when I was in primary school, in secondary school, in university, it's not documented. Likewise, your own. Likewise, every Nigerian. The traffic
I didn't
rule we
commit any
normally
crime.
break. For example, I'm just sorry. Imagine most of us have break traffic rules. It's not
Yeah.
documented. This is why we have a high. This is why we're having insecurity in Nigeria. If all those crime or minor offenses many Nigerians have committed over the years is well articulated and documented, you find out that we'll be able to reduce crime rate in Nigeria. This is the problem we are facing. So therefore, if we have state police, we cannot integrate it into national criminal database, whereby all the state governors and all the whole state command and national security advisor and the rest of it will be able to fine-tune it and see. There will be an element of collaboration instead of competition. These are the problems we are talking about in Nigeria. This is the only country in the world whereby people will go for election, you don't have their documentations of what they have done in the past. You don't have what it takes for you to view what got wrong when they were small or when they were growing up. This is the problem we are facing as a country. But however, if states is able to come up with their own infrastructure, you find out that at the end of the day, frankly speaking, it's going to augment the federal government. The structure we have the federal government will not be able to control it as we speak right now. In fact, that is why there is a crisis everywhere. The insecurity is getting out of proportion. And we cannot decide, we cannot wait for tomorrow. It has to be now. That is why Nigerians are clamoring for state police and the rest of it. It is also worth to remind you that Nigeria doesn't start a single, we didn't even start a single centralized system force in the colonial era, independence years. Region and native also own it. So the change we had was 1966 in the political, you know what I mean, era, during when Nigeria was having their first military coup and the rest of it. So when policing was unified under the federal control, party out of fear, regional police and now become a politically misused. That is why the military actually use it and say, okay, no, let us be in control. Because the current structure we have now was not meant for democracy. It was more for military rule. But when they now give us the constitution, that is why we find ourselves trying to battle for it. That's why I say since this democracy, there is no democratically elected president that be able to invest money in Nigeria police. As we speak today, there are many countries in the world without army. There is no country in the world without police. This is the problem we are facing. So therefore, if I must go to my village or you must go to your village, that means we must be able to have state police because they will understand the routine. I was a victim of insecurity. And I know what it takes for me to liberate myself from the shackle of insecurity. But today, I believe what happened to me should not happen to other people. Because what matters most in life is for you to be able to propose a solution that will work for the entire country, for national interest purpose.
All right. Great. So, Mr. Ibadin, I'm a pragmatist and I like to look at a few issues. Nigeria, we have a national disease of not fixing but building. If a road is bad, condemn it and build another road because that's where money is going to come from. If a school is bad, ignore it and build another school. You know, we just like to create things that we can't maintain. We are unable to maintain the current national police. And I want to join this with how the police is using what you may call technology to help their work. And if, as we are starting the state police, should we make certain things mandatory? You talked about crimes we commit. We don't have a national database, okay? Nobody knows how many we are. We don't have, national fingerprint of people. So if you commit crime, you can't even be traced. Now, police solve crime as if they consult Babalawo. There are no, what you may call, security cameras that can assist us in this country because some things, when they put before you, you can't argue. And we've been talking about all of this. What will you recommend? Because we are in 2026. We cannot start state police as they started in 1956. If the federal police is not getting it right, what can we do to make sure that the state police start on a sound footing, on a technological note, minimum standards that they shouldn't go below? What would you say to that?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, first of all, what we need to do is to define the recruitment process and see that we put the right people to actually, so that we don't allow politicians to hijack the state police in the sense that all professional rulers, people will send them to say these are party members. So I think what they need to do as a matter of urgency is to see that people who study criminology, people that study ITs, people that study political science and sociologies and the rest of it should actually give opportunity to be able to come in as as one of the intakes in the security architecture of the state. So my recommendation is clear that as you said earlier on, yes, I agree with you because I said it that what we have now, even for us to be able to man drone, they don't have the technology, they don't have the manpower. for us to be able to do investigation, and then we talk of private investigations for people and to do tracking, the manpower is not there. So they are short of manpowers. Talking about even the national criminal database, the people who are going to man the IT department and the rest of it, I think these are where they are lacking. If you ask me what the state governors need to do as a matter of urgency is to look for experts that can actually partner with them instead of them trying to do it all alone. Because what they do is to partner with security agencies and security experts that already have the technology for them to be able to come on board and partner with some states. First of all, on drone piloting, investigation, help them on forensic, help them on cyber crime and the rest of it. So these are the things that they have to look at instead of trying to make it state affair. In fact, the state governor can even go to Zamfara to go and get somebody to, for example, if I'm the governor of Delta State, I can go to Kaduna to go and get the best hand in Kaduna, a police officer to come and head my state. So that you don't, you know what I mean? So these are the kind of
But
things we need to
wouldn't
infuse,
that
like
defeat
what
the
the governor
purpose?
of the governor of
Yeah.
no, it will not
Wouldn't
defeat
that
the
defeat the
purpose for
purpose?
the up will give you more credibility. No, what I mean, up will not, it will not defeat the purpose from the up. Because, for example, let me
Mm,
give you a scenario. The current governor of Enugu State, the current person
mm,
who is heading the forest guard is from, I think he's from Ogun State also. He's doing well. So what I'm trying to say in essence is it will not defeat the purpose if you get the right person and to head the affair of the state. But from the periphery, when we talk of the locals, local government levels, talking of the DPO level, you know what I mean? That is where you need the locals to be able to give you information because information is critical in terms of
yeah.
implementations. Because this is what we're talking about there. So frankly speaking, that is what I recommend. Okay, because if you can get the right people from the beginning and have a structure that will highly defined, it will go a long way to help the state governors to kickstart effectively. And also there should be a tenure for each of the commissioners of police. Tenure in the sense that maybe 5 years tenure, which is renewable. So if you give them tenure, not that you just go and sack the state commissioner of police. No, there should be a tenure and they have to pass through the legislature of the House of Assembly and appoint them as the commissioner of police in their state. If we put all those ideas and all those parameters in place, you'll find out that we're going to have a very strong institution that will give us a good governance in that state level.
Okay. I hear you. When you said pass through the House of Assembly, some people on the platform will chuckle and say the House of Assembly that is in the governor's pocket. But let me ask this question. Shouldn't there be a minimum expectation equipment? So a police officer, how do you kit him at the minimum? Because these days we see police officers even wearing slippers. So a police officer should have minimum standards. Is it walkie-talkie they will have? Are we going to kit them with rifles or is it pocket handguns? Are they carrying notepad? Are they wearing body cameras? What will be the minimum recommendation? And I keep saying this against the backdrop of we're in 2026. And people will keep saying we don't have the money. Are we ready for this? You are a security expert and you have seen police all over the world, be it in Dubai, be it in London or America or in Australia or Canada. And if he comes out, he's like a moving office. What will be the minimum recommendation for kitting our state police? Because this is what the presidential task force is doing. They are putting minimum standards that each state must meet to be allowed to have a state police. So we are asking on this platform, sir, as an expert, what will you be recommending as minimum standard for kitting?
Frankly speaking, if you ask me, I will say critically that we should have what we call a complete chain kitting for the state police. What I mean by complete chain, for example, if those ones in the highway, that we should even have what we call a high wheel mini barrack. If you look at what is going on, and when you are traveling, you find out that most of our police on the road are not well kitted. I agree with you completely. Most of the operational vehicles are not there. Or for example, if when there is rain, how do they survive? We have to ask ourselves those kind of fundamental questions. You find out that really, if you look at what we have now, in fact, it's not, you cannot compare them to other police in US. I remember vividly when I traveled, I want to take a picture with other police. When you go to Dubai, in fact, when you see a police using the best cars, Lamborghini, using the range and the rest of it, you like to be a police officer. But in Nigeria, the reverse is the case. So I think really what we need, the walkie-talkies need to be very, very effective, and bulletproof vests need to be there for all the state police command and their in the locals. And also we must have operational vehicle, which is very critical for them to be able to use, because and also training. Because what I tell people is you don't give what you don't have. They must invest in training. Training, because the contemporary police we're talking about smart policing these days. Training. And the gadget they need to have, not that somebody come to meet you, you are asking the person, give me your paper. You should have what we call devices that will read your driving license to bring out your profile, who you are, the name of your vehicle, where you live. So these are the kind of police I want to see actually. And frankly speaking, currently what we have now is beyond that. I have gone from Nigeria to Yamoussoukro, to Cote d'Ivoire. When you pass Nigeria border, you go to assuming you enter what we call this country in Benin. You will see police checkpoints. They say stop. Policemen will sit down under the tree or on their canopy. You will stop to come and meet them. They now look at your vehicle. They say, move. If you don't stop, if you go to the near, maybe you drive for another 10 kilometer or 10 kilometer. If they stop you, they say you should go back to go and clear yourself before you meet them. They will radio them that social vehicle refuse to stop. That is kind of society we want. I tell my friends, I say, if you were in London, you commit a crime in London, are you going to call the commissioner of police in London to come and rescue you? Because politicians and Nigerians are actually the one that destroy Nigeria police. So when you have issues of police, you have to go and be calling your uncles to call somebody that knows somebody. Nobody is held accountable for any crime. That is why we're having a crisis today. And these crises are now become something extraordinary. It's called the rich also cry. That is why we're talking about we must have a state police and the rest of it. So these are the problems that confront the country. Whereby when you have issues, you have to be looking for your elder brother in the Senate, or because you know a governor or a minister to come and help you out. So this is the problem we have. So if you don't know anybody, you go to jail. If you know somebody, you have to go to jail. So I want to see an independent state police that they will be allowed to do their job wholeheartedly without fear of contradiction. And the equipment that are needed for smart police need to be given to them before they can start. And the training that is highly needed cannot be overemphasized. So these are the things we are talking about, which is very critical for state police to kick off. And I believe that with the wisdom for what I've seen so far from the House of Rep and the Senate, in all fairness, I'm very happy that the governors may not have that total control to actually deal with their opponents. I tell people even, I say even in Nigeria here, we have a federal judiciary, we have state judiciary. If you are not happy with the state judiciary, but the only thing I think with one of the suggestions my suggestions to them is that if you are not satisfied with the state, maybe you are being tried, you feel that you are politically witch hunt, you can actually seek the federal intervention so that your matter can be transferred. But however, if it is crystal clear, so we should have a committee that will look into that into the state. If you feel that you are being witch hunt, you can actually appeal for it. It's just the way when you are not clear with a state judiciary, you go to the federal to appeal, you go to Supreme Court to appeal. Something other kind of framework will go a long way to actually help us. So I believe that there will be challenges. There are challenges. In fact, the one we have, there is challenges on it. So even the government we practice today, the federalism we're talking about, there is challenges. That is the truth of the matter. So how do we do it? We don't have any other state. We don't have any other country. This is our country. So that is the reason why we are talking of how can we have a good structure that will be able to give us an accurate, befitting state police that everybody will be proud of. But before now, I may ask some people, in your area where you live, do you know your DPO as we speak now? Do you know where you work? Do you know your DPO? If you are traveling, what does it cost you to buy bread or you buy water or you buy something and give to them on the road? Because these are the things we need to do to support Nigeria police. You remember in America, when the citizen was clamoring, defund the police, defund defund mean the money given to the police is too much in America. Defund. Because federal government in America and the state, they fund the police so well. But in Nigeria, I have not seen Nigeria carrying placard to say, fund the police, fund the police. These are the problems we are talking about here. So I believe it's our responsibility to write an articles or rather to submit a memorandum to be part and parcel of this reform so that we don't get it right as a country. Because we don't have any other country. This is our country, Nigeria. We must let it work. This is what I believe.
Okay.
But the current structure we have is getting out of proportion. We must do little things to see how we can support the Nigeria police we have as of today before we migrate to the other one. In Ogun State alone, Amateco have arrested and persecuted over 500 suspected criminals in a single year, according to his own commander. It is, you know what I mean? So that is a plus already, supporting the Nigeria police compared to the terrain and the community. In those areas, Nigeria police force is for federal. People are disconnected with Nigeria police force. You can't give them information. They are not willing to give them information. They are scared. But if you have a local police, people can walk and speak their language and give the police the information. That is just the truth of the matter. So you can see Amateco is working very well. Last time, you know what happened? The Oni of Ife donated 100 million naira to Amateco. That is a plus. So it is, Nigeria must be able to see how we can help a lot of police as we are going, as we are traveling. Even the United Nations, for example, on July 24, at the World Amateco Day, a formally international acknowledged and localized community accord security forces have sometimes genuinely and teach us how the world should work. So you can see what happened there, what Nation have recognized Amateco as a platform because of the work they are doing in the Southwest.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. I almost chuckled there when you said, when have we ever bought bread to give the police when we are going? Police don't wait for you to buy bread. They ask for the bread. If you don't give them, you are in trouble. So which time do we have to be showing them love with buying bread? They themselves take the bread by force from us. And it is not true. Nigerians have requested. I mean, what was the End SARS protest all about? Part of the demand of the End SARS protesters was that police should be better funded. Up to tomorrow, Shore is in the forefront of fighting for better payment, funding of police. So there has been a lot of agitation by civil society. Just that our politicians and government officials, they are deaf and dumb. They only do what they want to do when they want to do it. So there has been a lot of agitation to support the police. How do we guarantee, how do we ring fence the state police to make sure they don't fall into this same quagmire that the national police is in? Do we create a dedicated account for them, where their salaries, because look, we have to be realistic. Are we going to have problems down the line? True. But what can we possibly do to avert that problem? That their salaries will be delayed I can bet on that. That their vehicles and petrol will not even be available for their vehicles, I can almost bet on that. That they will not have enough arms and ammunition, I can almost bet on that. My question to you is, we know these things will happen. What can we put in place to ring fence or to protect it from, or to prevent it from happening? Is there anything that we can recommend into that minimum standards now and say this and this must be in place After this question, I think I will yield the floor for questions from the people on the floor. So if you can just answer that.
Okay, before I answer that question, first of all, I must also commend Shore for what he has been doing.
Exactly.
From you like this, he have done well. I must commend him. And also, even Nigeria, sometimes those people who are doing well, we don't even appreciate them. And look
That's
at Gani
correct.
Fawehinmi, for example, who actually helped Nigeria so much, and the rest of it. When he contested, I mean, Nigeria voted for him. They are not up to 10. So sometimes people begin to wonder, those people who actually have what it takes for you to be able to make a change, we find out that they are not being appreciated by the citizen. That is the problem we have, in all fairness. So, but however, as you said, the parameter we need to put in place is crystal clear. And state police is not new to the world. The United States of America is operating, they have a state police, India has state police, and Brazil have a state police, Argentina has state police. So these are tiers of, it's already there, the document is there, and the framework is there. It's just what matters most is for us to be able to formulate and translate those documents into reality. And I agree with you. Yes, people might be scared. How do they fund it? Where will the money go? That is why also we are also advocating that you have what we call just the way you have state police commission. So these are the commission will be able to actually help us to formulate those doctrine into reality. To the police will be able to go into them directly instead of being channeled for other things. And if you look at even the model operated by Lagos State, for example, under LASMA. If LASMA arrests you, you pay money for it. What does it cost the state governors or the police in the state? If you commit a crime, let the money go straight to the state government police coffer, and maybe you know what I mean. So those are the kind of things we are trying to propose to them, how they can raise money. If you commit a crime that is you want to bond, let the money go to the state. It's just like the way if you look at how much um, last man is making for state governors is amazing. In fact, the money they are making is even enough to take care of their logistics and the rest of it. So we can bring that kind of model to place. If you pay for it, you will not commit the crime next time. These are the kind of things I think we can do. And if you ask me, as I said, the federal government, the money going to state governors now is tripled compared to when Buhari was in power. So frankly speaking, all those excess, especially the money that was meant for these
What
state
subsidy?
um, security votes should be channeled for all those kind of state police and the rest of it. Because when we have a good policy system, frankly speaking, we will have a good security system at in any state. Because if we don't do that, we are beginning to rely on this kind of a single digit security architecture. You'll find out that we will not be able to go to your village. I will not be able to go there. But the area will support the federal government's initiative, which is laudable, better for everybody, so that we can have a very safe environment for us to be to operate. In certification, and also we must also have what we call element of a good firearms and the rest of it, so that they will be able to be highly equipped, as I said earlier on, so that they will be able to do the right thing in their own state domain. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will yield the floor to Jumoke to take questions. But before I do that, I think Pastor Itwa is in the house. I would like to call on him if he has one or two questions of his own, or if he has any comments to make before Jumoke will handle the engagement with the participants. Pastor Itwa.
Thank you very much. Thank you, my brother, for coming and engaging us in this very lively discussion today. Matthew Ibadin. And thank you for being relentless. You've been really relentless in your pursuit for security, both in Edo State and also in Nigeria, and for going through all those trainings, those courses that you are determined to go through. I've followed a lot of the discussion from where I got engaged, and I note the very, very interesting points. But let me leave my full comments until after we've had the questions from other people, and then I can chip in what I think before we close. Thank you so much. God bless you all, and thank you all for being on the platform today. God bless you.
All right, thank you.
sir.
Jumoke, thank you. You handle the question and answer session.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening. I think we have a few hands up. Good evening, sir. Thank you for joining us. Faye, if you would let me turn on my video on the other device, I would appreciate that. I can't right now. But let's take Said. Said Adeleye, please go ahead and ask your question. We've asked you to unmute.
Thank you very much. I actually had Mr. Boyer ahead of me. If you want to recognize him first, just to give recognition to the other. Yes,
thank
please.
you. I had you. So I'm sorry, Dr. Boye. I did not mean to break the order. I just had Said first. So go ahead, Mr. Boye. Dr. Boye. Doctor, we've asked you to unmute. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, okay, thank you. It just came through now, the permission to unmute. Thank you very much, Mr. Ibadin. I think something that you made clear, even lecturer today ought to realize that if a state police is even coming, all the various houses of assembly must have joined in orchestrating this by approving it before it gets to the federal Federal House of Representatives or the Senate. If you look at what happens in the US, there are constitutional guarantees. There are things that the state police cannot do. There are things that the federal police does. I think that when it comes to interstate matters or people are apprehended outside the state boundary, it goes to the next state. And things like kidnapping could fall under federal matters. The Constitution designs those things, just like how the Constitution has what you call the exclusive and concurrent list. There are things that will go directly to the state police. So the state police, the state government, is not in a position to determine everything. There are some things that will still be under the federal police, like the ports, the airports, the seaports, the various the customs and things like that. They'll still be in the federal government. Even the police will want to intervene if there is a crime at the port. We have to find out that there's only the federal police that can do that. Then I think we need to educate the average Nigerian on the perception of the police. The average Nigerian sees the police as a meddler, as an organization that cannot be trusted. So the civics, the training of people to see the police as a friend has to start all over again, because you don't go to Nigerian police and report a crime without being implicated in that same crime. So we need to do that. The relationship between police and the civil society right now is not the best. I practice medicine, and I know that every medical doctor that owns a private hospital in Nigeria ought to know about a DPO in the area where he lives. The day the police comes for you, whether you are right or wrong, you are going to be in trouble. So the average Nigerian has a very negative attitude towards the police in terms of reporting crime, in terms of assisting the police in a criminal investigation capacity. Average Nigerian is very wary of the police. Secondly, the average Nigerian also when it concerns him, he talks well about the police. When he has used the police to arrest you, use the police to settle scores, use the police to do so many things, he loves if he knows the DPO. So we need to work very hard on changing the perception of the average Nigerian. And then funding. The funding that we're talking about now is not the federal government, because no governor will release a security vote for the police. It is already so lucrative that every state governor we want to protect. I'm not supporting that, but that's what they do. They want to protect the security votes for themselves. There must be a separate percentage of the federal allocation that must be given to the police force. And the houses of assembly, I will have to support this and follow it up. You can't get a state police that is dependent on the security vote of the governor. Also, you can't get a state police that is not properly, even in National Assembly, the judiciary is asking for self-funding for itself to be able to fund the judiciary, and they want to go through the Federal Ministry of Finance. So we should have a state police that is independent in a way, in its fund, in its resources, in its fund drive and things like that. So it's not Nigeria going on the road and giving a piece of bread to the police. In fact, the police should be cautioned and made to desist. It is very, very unfair and wrong for the state police. They should be demanding for bread on the highway or demanding commendation. Do your job, you'll be commended well. Training. Federal state government have to create state police colleges, or they recruit from people that have gone to the federal police college, because the police colleges we have now belong to the federal government. And if people are trained there, they can always apply to work with states. It's not everybody that is trained at the federal service, at the federal police colleges, that will eventually get jobs with the federal government. So when you finish from Nigerian Police College Ikeja or Kano, you sit for an exam and you pass, and you now get to work with the federal, or you get to work with the state. And if we're going to do state police, we have to go through and do it properly from the top to the bottom, how it works. I agree with the fact that we have to have a situation where they are controlled, where there is an ombudsman that will be able to checkmate what is going on, and people can report them. I will stop here so that people can ask, because I know some other people will ask even some questions I've already attended to. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Apologies, I can't turn on my video for some reason. So Saeed, can you please go ahead and ask your question or your comments? We've asked you to unmute. Go ahead and unmute, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Jumate. And well, thank you, Mr. Ibadin, for all your input so far. While I might want to build up on what Dr. Boye just said, I think the few things that stood out to me, which Mr. Ibadin should also recognize here, I think the first step is really that reorientation. Most of the points that you highlighted, definitely I want to believe aligns with the minds of a lot of the Nigerian community. No one is against or scared about, setting up the state police. The concerns are what have the system done with what it currently has. And I think even as practitioners like yourself, that would be my call to each and every one of you to at least leverage what is currently active to begin to lay the foundation of the correctiveness that we actually want to see. Starting for me would be the Police Ethics Committee. We do know that there are just a few bad eggs amongst the lot, but what is being done by the Police Ethics Committee itself to actually address some of these things, I think, in my opinion, that should be a foundation of where to start. Having said, in terms of the time frame that is also being given for the citizens' engagement, 30 days, yeah, I mean, from your position as an expert, that's a good timing. But if we really want an inclusive government, an inclusive country, we cannot undermine the need for citizens to feel very involved in processes that has to deal with the everyday, life of goods and services, and of course the citizens. And I feel even though the governments are keen on doing this, this is an avenue and an opportunity to begin to correct some of those misuse and abuse that is already perceived of this institution. So yes, there's definitely a strong need to reconsider that time frame, and actually really engage the community and maybe a town hall across the entire geopolitical region, for citizens to really begin to feel involved and at least appreciated and respected. In terms of funding, I will definitely agree that quite a number of states already have security votes, and in my opinion, this is a great opportunity for us to also see the level of competence of the various leadership of the state, not just the governor. It's on them now to try to see how they can build the economy of their states in such a way that they're able to meet the needs of the of the various departments that they actually set out to create. But the average Nigerian has always been, we've been an independent security, just the same way we've always provided for our own, safe water and electricity. And I think that's the same analogy here. The issue of funding, it's a matter of, can we just even start with what we have and actually build up from there? That would be, the drive and the optimism that I feel we should see from them, not necessarily, the call out of insufficient funds. Let's see what you can do with what you have. Technology wise, yeah, I mean, it's all a build up. Okay. If we can have telecommunications spread across the entire country, that's the safe landing for them to really start, because I mean, every Nigerian basically do have access to, communication, which by the way can be consolidated on and improved on. So I think there already existing infrastructure in country. They are functional, that this initiative needs to leverage on. And of course, with guided advice and opinion from individuals like yourself, I think it's important to not just to allow for political mindset to drive this, and rather focus more on the need for engagement between both local Nigerian citizens in Nigeria and of course the network of Nigerian diasporans who are also involved in security operations across the world that can actually help, leverage on all of this. My questions to you, sir, will be, while we are thinking through all of this process, isn't it also important to leverage this opportunity to begin to also call out on the judiciary arm of government? Because yes, assuming we're able to implement the state police today, we should definitely all know that the level of cases will definitely be on the rise. So, and the swiftness of turnaround time to affect those, pass those laws, or basically also manage the outcomes of the actions of the police representatives themselves, is something we shouldn't overlook. So I think it's a matter of recognizing the chicken and the egg situation here between the state police and of course the judiciary arm of government, and how can we try to also amplify that voice, or from the knowledge that you have. Is this something that this policy is also put into consideration before it's finally brought to vote? On that note, I yield and I say thank you again.
I'm sorry, can you just rephrase that your question? Your voice is echoing. Apology, please.
Said, please rephrase your question.
Rephrase your question, please, in one sentence. I'm sorry. Your voice is echoing.
Okay. Thank you. Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yeah,
Yes.
please go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So my question is, while the efforts is being put in motion to set the state police up, is there any effort also being put into revising the judiciary arm of government to be able to meet up with the high growth in cases that will likely also, result from this action to be taken? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So did you get that, sir?
Yes, I think,
Okay.
yes, I got it.
So do you want to take those two, the two
Let me take
comments?
it.
We have three.
First of all, two comments. One from Dr. Omodali Bayo. Thank you very much
Boyo.
for Boyo. Sorry. Thank you very much for your comment. And I believe that when I started earlier on with this conversation, I said something that the current structure is not working. If it's working, we will not be clamoring for state police. And I mentioned that there are three fundamentals that actually make us to find ourselves where we are, because under federalism, there are three structures that matters in the layers of having a policing. For example, as I said, we have what we call exclusive list. And this exclusive list is purely under the federal government control. And Nigeria police happen to be under the exclusive list. It's only the Nigerian government, rather the federal government, that can formulate and translate policies on the exclusive list. That is the problem we find ourselves today. However, we also have what we call concurrent list. That concurrent list is under the purview of the state governors. State governors will not be able, they cannot do anything as we speak today, because the commissioner of police are not accountable to them. They are accountable to the IG of police in Abuja. That means you cannot give what you don't have. As I said earlier on, I said, look, in Manhattan, when there is a crime in Manhattan, when you listen, if you watch CNN, who do you see on the backdrop? It's the mayor of Manhattan. First responder, that is local, on CNN. Yeah, in Nigeria, have you ever seen any local government chairman on TV in terms of insecurity? Do you ever see them? We don't even know them because the system we practice is centralized. This is where we have great issues in Nigeria. So if that is the case, I won't say it's even beyond border. What we should do, we should even have local government police because crime is local anywhere in the world. So as I said, we have concurrent lists under federal, under state government, and we have residual lists. Residual list is under local government chairpersons across the country. If we do that, we'll find out that we'll be able to tackle most of the insecurity that happen in our domain. And these people are actually the locals. They understand the terrain more than any other person. So with this, we will be able to tackle that based on the fact that because the people to be held accountable will not be governors and the local government chairpersons. So this is where the problem lies. So the problem, first of all, is the constitutional framework. So this is what we are clamoring for. We should be able to dismantle that single-digit security architecture, whereby we centralize policing into one domain. This is where the problem lies. So secondly, Mr. Said, so I agree with you that if there is a way we can, what we are clamoring for, we should be able to look at it, how we can inculcate it into judiciary. I believe, yes, the answer is yes. But you know, Rome was not built in a day. Nigeria, we have a very fragile democracy in Nigeria. And sometimes, I'm writing the book, it's called, the, what do they call it? It's called, I'm sorry, if I remember, I will tell you. So, democracy monetization in Africa. You find out that the kind of democracy we practice today is monetized. If you don't have, the system does not even allow you to come with your knowledge so that you'll be able to, as a matter of that, to bring your input. You find that if you don't have money, you can't even win the election. Even the popular will not even vote for you because everybody seems to believe in stomach infrastructure. This is where we have the issues. And if you ask me, let me just digress a little bit, please. This for 4 years democracy, I am not in support. You can never develop this country with 4 years democracy. There is no country in the world you can develop. All those America you see, they didn't develop, Europe, they did not develop their country with 4 years democracy. We need like 15 years or minimum of 10 years before we start doing a re-election. That is just the truth of the matter. Doing election every 4 years. You use 1 year to do election, second year to try to recoup your money back, the second year, the third year, you're talking of how to spend the money again. It's not working for Nigeria, in Africa. If you ask me, frankly speaking, we should recommend for 15 years. People will tell you, oh, North and South, it doesn't matter. You can't build a structure with 4 years. This is where we are getting it wrong as a country. Because of we are doing the election every 4 years, political tension everywhere. This is where the problem lies as a country. That is my only submission. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. I don't know if you were able to touch on the question from Said on the judiciary, preparing the judiciary to also respond to increase in cases. I think that was part of his last question. If you have any comments on that, and then we can take the next set of hands.
Yeah, that's why I said the judiciary is part of tiers of government. And I believe they have their own problem they are confronting with. If you go to the court, you see a lot of cases that are piled up. I think somebody like me, let me give you an instance. I think I took a case to the court somewhere in Yaba. They were telling me I should come every day, every day. It's not easy. I have to abandon the case. They don't have enough judges. And the infrastructure is, I don't know if you have been to court. If they are even speaking, you can't even hear them. There is no public address system. There is no light sometimes. Sometimes I pity judiciary on their own. I think the problem that confronts police also confronts the judiciary. So I agree with you, they have to speed it up. But the truth of the matter is that for what I know, because as a private investigator, they don't have enough manpower. That is where the problem lies. But I believe they need to be encouraged to actually make sure that justice justice denied, justice delayed, justice delayed, justice denied. Yes, of course, they can be encouraged to make sure that the cases are
Okay.
um, effective in terms of deliverables.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate that. We have quite a few hands up now. So I know we did not time it before, but we are going to ask you to please keep it succinct so that we can take everyone that has their hand up. Go ahead, Professor Grange. Good evening, Mark. Good to have you. We've asked you to unmute. Go ahead and unmute.
Yes, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. A lot of what should be our concerns have already been mentioned by previous speakers, so I would not like to repeat those. But what I feel is that as we decentralize, we should remember that the federal level is losing power. And so they also have to be prepared to adapt to that loss of power. Without that, it's going to be very difficult for the people at state level to function properly. My second observation is about the regional policing, which Southwest states have been able to set up. Can you tell us, yes, can you tell us whether that has worked well? And if it has, why are we not adopting that type of system? I can see that some states may be able to handle policing by themselves, but those states that are not able to do so, is there any provision for them to come together and work like Amotekun? So thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. We are going to. Okay. Can we take a couple more before you respond to them, sir? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead, Dr. Charles Albin. We've asked you to unmute. Please go ahead with your question.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, guest. I think I'll be brief because a lot of the things I align with most of what has already been said, particularly the fact that 30 days is too short a time to do something of this magnitude. This is a big change that is coming to the country since 1965, maybe. And that's a whole generation of people who have never seen a regional police before. As a result, a lot of education needs to take place. The people need to be prepared to start to embrace this new thing that is coming. The state governors and state governments, the state assemblies, they have to be consulted because we are essentially saying the constitution needs to change. And to say that recommendations should happen within 30 days, I think it's a big stretch. So I agree that some additional work needs to be done. For people like you who live, who breathe this, do this every day, 30 days is not such a big deal because you probably had the foresight to start preparing for something like this. However, for the rest of the society, a lot of awareness needs to be inculcated, if you will. They need to be educated. We have to think about what will it take to move from a constable, a new recruit, to become a certified police officer that can carry a rifle, and what are they going to do with that? I think a lot of consultation needs to take place here. With regards to police mounting roadblocks and searching people and doing all kinds of things, obviously, when you have more policemen, if you will, and women, you have more police force in the country. That attitude will have to change. So some training, a lot of training will need to take place. Perhaps this is not going to become functional for another 9 months, 10, 12 months, maybe a year and a half. So definitely, the society needs to be carried along, for lack of a better word. So I agree. 30 days is too short, and a lot more consultation needs to take place. So now, are we saying that the constitution is going to change, or this is going to be an edict an act of the government that says we're establishing state police. It doesn't need to. We don't need to amend the constitution, or we're just going to go with that. And lastly, I noticed that you gave the numbers of what Amotekun has done in one of the states. I thought that is great. That essentially said there are some positive results that we can emulate. Are you going? I'm just going to piggyback on what Professor Grange asked you, which is, are you recommending a model as a model that we can start to deploy to other states in Nigeria, or there's something else we have to create from scratch?
Thank you.
Sorry, I thought I was done. Just real quick, one of the things we see with our police forces, since you mentioned America, for example, when there is an alert that goes out, you see a police truck, a police car, they are going in tandem. There's a police car going, there's an emergency response system also going with them, because you never know what is going on. Can all of that be also introduced as we are talking about policing? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. So do you want to take those two questions, or do you want me to add one more to it?
No, let me just take it so that I won't forget,
Okay.
please. I think Professor Jumoke talked about Amotekun. There's a way we can inculcate it. Yeah, sorry. I think, frankly speaking, Amotekun have done well in the Southwest. But however, they cannot just be recruited to be the police of the Southwest. Reason being that policing is not. Police is not it's not a convention. We need to train them. There is a process by which you can become a police. For you to go to academy, it take about 4 years for you to be trained and for you to be a police. You know what I mean? However, and for you to be a recruit, it take you about 1 year for you to be trained, for you to be able to handle gun and understand and the rest of it. But however, I must say is Amotekun have done well, but it's not a model we need to follow, because the model we need to follow is the contemporary policing we have right now in the world, because they require a lot of trainings, and which of course that will enable us to have a better policing system in the state. And there are processes for training. You first of all, how we call recruitment, and it take a lot of time for you to be able to be recruited. You have to have psychologists, and you have to have experts for them to partner with state commission to come up with process and the rest of it. The truth of the matter is that we can't even have the state police this year. I don't even think, maybe next year ending. Sincerely speaking, police is not what to just go and pick and just go and dump on the road. Otherwise, they will not be able. For you to fire a rifle, you require training. For you to do investigation, you require training. We need infrastructure. As I said earlier on, we don't have the infrastructure for state police for now. Infrastructure is what the most important thing is infrastructure. Why are we saying we need state police? Because people are being kidnapped. When they are being kidnapped, the federal government, the federal police cannot respond effectively. People are disillusioned with all those kind of what is going on. So the kind of state police we are advocating have to be a smart police that must follow the due process. And the policies of the state police must be highly formulated and translated into reality. So that is what I think. But however, as I said, Amotekun have done well in the Southwest, but we cannot use the framework of Amotekun to have a state police. For Mr. Charles, we talked about also the training and also Amotekun. And I believe that training is what we lack in the country. Let me give you instances. If you belong to Nigeria Army, before you are being promoted in Nigeria Army, you do exam. There are certain exam you must do or score you must get before you are promoted to the next rank. But Nigeria Police, the reverse is the case. So you can understand it. That is where the problem lies. So the training is not there. So for us to be able to have an accurate police, training is not negotiable. So for you to recruit, that's why I said from the beginning of my lecture when I was talking, I said what we need to do, first of all, is to go and get people that study criminology, cybersecurity, which is very important, psychologists and the rest of it, criminology, intelligence. These are the kind of people we need for us to be able to have an accurate recruitment process. Not one politician will go and bring a paper and say this people is from my constituency. If we do that, it's going to the purpose of having the state police will be defeated. So this is what I said from the beginning of my presentation. So what we need is we must follow the due process for us to be able to do it effectively. And the B is not just proposing to take Amateco even as a southwest. But however, there are certain what do you call it, operational blueprints from Atecos, what they are using, right? If you read the document presented to the chief of staff that have been inculcated, which is very, very critical for the state police.
Thank you very much, sir. We are going to take the next, I think the last set of hands. We have Pastor Ken. Please go ahead, sir. And then we'll take Henry and Mrs. Adetula. Please go ahead, Pastor Ken, with your question. We've asked you to unmute.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to, I've listened to everyone talking, and I seem to reach a certain conclusion that what we have always done in time past is something is not working. We do not fix it, but we just create something else. A road is not working, we do not fix it, we just build another road. A school is not working, and that's what is going on with this police structure. The current system is not working. Have we done anything to fix it? No. We're just looking to create a state police, and it becomes like a political decision. Let us just create something for the purpose of creating, not its effectiveness. I want to ask, why don't we fix the current police force and make it more effective on the different layers? The current police force, it's on the federal, it's in the state, it's in the local government or whatever. Why don't we fix that to ensure it is more effective? If we're talking about right now, the federal is in control, why don't we ensure that the federal police, the states and the local government are involved in the control of the Nigerian police force? So it becomes a Nigerian police force, and all the levels are involved in the different appointment, recruitment processes, training, so that everyone has a stake. Then looking at the local government, why don't we have a situation where even if we're going to create a state police, let it be a transition? As someone said, the local government is a direct contact with the people. And I believe even the colonial government understood this, and they ensured that they had people on ground on the local level that was able to give them enough feedback. We have enough retired police, retired soldiers, retired security people that can be immediately recruited to deal with this local and recruited from the places they come from, so that we can have this structure and try to fix what is the current situation. What is the current situation is not we don't have enough people. It's just that they are not equipped. They do not have the right training. They do not have the right equipment. Secondly, I just want to say the police cannot get enough men. What we need to do is to have, why not have a situation where we set up an effective community policing, where the people in the community can communicate with the authorities and let them know. You communicate with the police now, nobody picks up. And I'm saying this because my organization has looked into this, and we set up a community platform where the communities can, it's called Neighborly Alerts, communities can communicate to each other and to the authorities so that there can be proper response. Then the police is equipped to properly respond. They can't be everywhere at the same time, but if we set up a smart police, there are ways in which you can get them to be a particular squad. They can use helicopters, they can use they can use drones, they can use, it is a lot of technology that is needed at this time.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your comments, sir. Go ahead, Henry.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Auntie Jumoke, for this opportunity. And thank you, our guests. I just have a few comments to also make. I want to also ride on my Pastor Ken, on why we are doing what we are doing presently. And sincerely, I don't know the problem we are trying to solve, because you have to consider your present state, knowing what you lack before you go to your future state. The present Nigerian policing system is nothing to write home about. And instead of us to focus on where we are now, I'll give a very good example. The Nigerian police cannot even solve kidnapping. So if you have any kidnapping incidents and you don't know people in DSS, you don't know anybody in DSS or the Office of the National Security Advisor, that's it. Nothing gets that. They can't solve it. And we are not even asking question on that. You are not moving to police. There's no country in the world that you have states more equipped than the province or the federal. You see the hierarchy from the federal. Federal is more funded, more equipped. Even the capacity is more. It is even in the US, in Canada, in UK, that is the system, because they know that small problem is in the local government, medium problem is in the middle government, and the bigger problem is in the federal government. That is why you have that structure. Now we are trying to now see, state police is coming. State police will be more useless than even the federal system that we have presently. I can bet it, because that is actually the structure of government organization all over the world. The federal government is always more competent. Now the federal police in Nigeria is completely useless, and we are now seeing. That's why I said I don't even know the problem we are trying to solve. I don't get it. I don't understand it. What we are now going to create is that Amotekun or whatever police that we have, the regional or whatever may guard that system that we have presently now, they have the dang gun. But we are not going to see a state police carrying AK-47. That's what we are going to see. That's what people are going to witness. Then we are going to see a state police with more money to do whatever. I don't know what they're going to do with it, because even the most minimum equipment for solving crime, for gathering intelligence, is called forensic lab. There's no state command in Nigeria that has a forensic lab. There's no state command, and I'll repeat, there's no state command in Nigeria. Federal is just like an FBI with a forensic lab in Nigeria. So what is state going to do? That's why I said I don't understand the problem we are trying to solve. You made mention of going to Benin Republic, and you see how organized, how serious, because they are serious people living in Benin. Nigerians are not serious people. I'm sorry. That is why anytime you enter Nigeria, my niece that works in Benin Republic says anytime she steps her feet in Nigeria, she knows she's in lawlessness on everywhere. People are selling organ on the street as well. You will know that you have entered Nigeria. And so, as soon as she leaves to get into Benin Republic, everything is just organized. People are serious going about. So we have a lot of problem. It's not just police or whatever. We have serious problem in our part of it is cultural, because we are not serious people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think his was mostly a comment. I don't know that there were questions there. So should I take one more and then you address them together, or do you? Okay. So I'm going to ask Mrs. Adetula to please go ahead, and we've asked you to unmute. Go ahead, Ma.
Thank you very much. I have no problem with whether it is regional, state, or federal. What I have problem with is the corruption within the police. Have you ever visited any police college? Go and see where these guys, ladies, they are being trained. You will weep for your country, and you expect these people to come out from that rubbish environment to come and perform. The federal government or whoever gives adequate funding, but the people at the top sit on the funds. Yes, I am saying it loud and clear. Just like in other places. Number one, The Minister of Finance that's supposed to release funds will release probably maybe 1/3 or 2/3 of what they are supposed to release. And when it is released, the people at the top will sit on it. And by the time it gets down to the local government police, nothing to write home about. So how do we handle that? This is the basic problem we are facing. It is not only in police, so it's everywhere. All the security agencies. And then number two, there is no proper coordination among the security agencies in Nigeria. Everybody wants to be the Lord and Master of his own. I'm the one that carried out this. I'm the one that... No, that is another problem. So you can speak your Turanci from morning till night. The funds that they are supposed to use will not get to them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ma. So we have those three, if you can take them, and then we'll take the last to answer.
Okay, thank you. Let me just start from the last, Mrs. Adetola. Thank you very much, Madam. Frankly speaking, your observation is crystal clear. And as I do say, it is the current situation we find ourselves today. The law enforcement agency, they are doing competition instead of collaboration. I think I said that earlier on when I started my lecture. Instead of competition, they are doing competition. They are, you know what I mean? But however, let me make it very clear here. You see, you don't mix politics with security. Security is a profession, while politics is a vocation. The greatest problem we have today is that Nigeria, we don't know the difference between police and government. The problem we have is not police, it's the government that is the problem we have Nigeria have. Nigeria government, successive government, go and check Nigeria budget of police. They don't even get the 50% of the budget. 50% don't get it. Nigeria, they can't cry more than they believe. I pity Nigeria police. Frankly speaking, they can't cry because if the IG cry, they will remove him. The problem we have is government. This is why I said Nigeria need to hold their government accountable to fund the Nigeria police. And I said it crystal clear that in America, people were protesting that defund the police, meaning you have to, with the money to the police in America is too big. They have to withdraw some money. People were protesting. But how many Nigerians have carried placard to say fund the police? You won't see anybody on the street. This is the problem we have as a country. Except Shore, who is trying. I must commend him, but a lowly voice. So this is the problem. The problem we have is not from the police, madam. The problem we have is government is the problem. Since Shagari regime, there is no democratically elected government have been able to inject intervention to Nigeria police. Walk me anywhere. Since Shagari regime, during Shagari regime, we have correct policy system in Nigeria, the best policy in Africa during Shagari regime. But what went wrong? Since we have democracy, all the president focus on the military, not even police. This is where the problem lies. So this is where the problem lies, madam. If you go to all those institutions talking about, there is no budget for them. Go to any police station, go and ask. Most of the DPO you see there, they are using their money for intervention, to buy fuel, to do, and they can't shout. If they shout, they will be removed. Sometimes I pity the commissioner of police. They are just trying to survive, like any other Nigeria. So that is just the truth. The problem we have is federal government is the problem of insecurity we have. They are the one who hold the knife, the cake. That is why the police is on the exclusive list. So what we are saying, let us remove it from it and take it to state governors so that we can go and hold governors accountable. Now we can't hold the president accountable because everywhere is calling president. Everywhere. We can't even see, Nigerians even tired. As the last caller even said, the second to the last caller, he said most of the equipment is not available, which is I want you to visit Nigeria police on your own. Frankly speaking, you will pity this country. I'm not saying that is the truth of the matter. So, but if we have state police, frankly speaking, most of all those problems will be addressed. I agree with you. A road was not built in a day. What we have now is not working. The only constant thing in life is change. Let us change from where we are to the next level. The second caller, yeah, you talked about AK-47 and the rest of it. How can we, like London? I told you earlier on, when we go to when we go abroad, we like to take picture with the police in London. You take police go to Dubai, America, you like to take picture of your house guests are insulting them. You use them as a big guard. They are holding madam's bag. Is that how police supposed to be? Police that is meant for the people, the few oligarchy, both the government officials and the VIP in the country. They put them in their home and use them for escorts. Is that how it's supposed to be? But guess what? Are they even trained? There is no money for training. As I said, police cannot shout. It is we, the citizens, are supposed to carry placard and say, let us protest. Somebody like me, I have done my part. As I speak to you, I belong to PCROC. I'm the president, I'm the chairman of PCROC Victoria Island, Police Community Relations Committee to support Nigeria Police. I'm also a spy police. As I said earlier on, I understudied Nigeria Police because I was a victim of insecurity. As I speak to you right now, if you go friendsofpolice.ng, I'm the one that formed it. Just for us to see what can we do to support Nigeria Police. We don't have any other police. This is only countries there is no country in the world without police. But there are many countries in the world without army. So before any other thing, please, I want us to take an oath today. What can we do in our workplace where you work to support even the one we have right now? Go and know your DPO. Even though it's 20,000 naira you have from your office, please try to support the police station. No matter, nothing is too small. In your place of work, your house, know your DPO. Very, very important. As of today, this is what we have. The police we have, they are not from Jamaica, they're not from Cotonou, they are Nigerians. So the problem is societal problem. What affect Nigeria police. That's just the truth of the matter. The first person, I'm sorry, I can't remember your name.
Pastor Ken.
Pastor Ken, yeah, you talked about how can we actually make sure that we have a good policing structure. As I said, we always try as a country. It's just like, how can we have a good democracy? Do we have it right now? The answer is no. We have to always try and see how we can make a country. What I can think we can do today is, how many times have we on our own carry phone to say, okay, we write something good about police. Everything you say is about negative. You destroy Nigeria police image, you destroy the country. When a citizen, other citizen enter this country, the only thing they see is police. This is the only country in the world whereby we have used social media to destroy Nigeria police. And this is the image of the country we have. As I said, police is interface with the citizen, with investors that come to Nigeria. How many of us have used our Bible to write, to talk good about Nigeria police or what the government need to do? That's why I said the problem we have is from us. Because many of us, we don't know the distinction between Nigeria police and Nigeria government. The politicians are the problem we have. They refuse to fund Nigeria police. Rather, they channel their energy for funding the defense. And they know that police is in charge of internal.
You are muted, sir. Sir, you are muted.
Okay, sorry. So the truth of the matter is that we don't have any other country. It should be, what can we do henceforth? How can we participate in this bid that is going on? What can we get into it? Can we call, for example, tell me, Pastor Itwai, please, can we organize maybe national debate or maybe a summit on how to support Nigeria police? Or how can we make input? This is where the problem lies. Frankly speaking, Nigeria police are trying their best. DPO, they sleep in their office. These Nigeria police are looking at. They are the best in the world. I call Nigeria police the best in the world because they are working without the necessary tools. There is no police in the world that can work in Nigeria. They are working in a hostile environment. That is just the truth of the matter. I don't blame them. Rather, how can we support them to succeed? This is where we are lacking as a country or as a citizen. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for those great points. I'm going to ask, I think Mr. Dominic is agenda. We've asked you to unmute. Please go ahead, sir, and ask your question. And then we have Mr. Stephen and then Auntie Yemisi last. Those will be the last comments or questions we'll take. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Madam Jimoke, for allowing me to share my view. My voice is not clear because I'm slightly indisposed. But because I love Nigeria, that is why I'm coming up. Maybe you've seen something I wrote, which you said you like it. But this morning, somebody crashed my telephone. And that is why I was asking you to give me the link. But however, everybody have spoken eloquently. There's no better time for state police to be created. But in my own view, it cannot be concluded just this 6 months. It will take almost 12 months, if I'm not mistaken. From a forensic directorate point of view in London, to create police, first of all, we must ask question the reason why the former one we have. Why do we find ourselves in this position? It was built on corruption right from the beginning. But I do not want to run into that. So as I will not be, people will say some tribe did this and some did that. No, but rather how do we face it? If we are to face it, now that it appears that everybody is speaking of state police, you look at people from their own villages, because what is working in America will not work in Nigeria. There is a difference between June and July. Everything starts with J, but one starts before the other. Now that we are talking of police, the one in America may be super, but they are all police. But the one we are going to do in Nigeria will be different from them. So in my place where I come from, Edo State, we call it Otu Egbodoge. That is age group. This age group, and you will have to know that we have age group across Nigeria. These are the people that know where any person who is not behaving well, any person who have a dubious character is. So what do you do then? How do you include them as a citizen? In other words, you send villages. Let's take Edo State as an example. 192 ward in Edo State. You go to each villages, tell them the youth that are there and want 7 people that are well behaved. They may have checked their credentials, because if we want to go deeper than that, I will be telling you people that the reason why police is not equally working well is because people were breaking out from institution.
Okay.
Have you talked about all the secret course in Nigeria? I will tell you how I have heard them. Until you go to National Assembly,
Sorry, sir.
get them to the
Apologies, sir.
meter.
Apologies, we are up on time, so your contribution has been great.
This
If you
is
could round
something
up.
I will use the whole book to
Okay.
write. I'm telling you forensically, because I work with forensic directorate in London.
Thank you,
What
sir.
happened at home, we know how it
Thank you.
come about. It's not all that work in America and in London.
Okay.
We work in Nigeria.
Thank you so much, sir. I hope you feel better. Hope you feel better. Go ahead, Mr. Stephen. Ask with your question or
Thank
your
you very much,
comment, and then we'll
Mrs.
take Auntie
Jumoke.
Yemisi as the last hand.
I want to say a big thank you, Mr. Matthew Ibadin. I think I sense your passion, and I agree with you that we all need to participate in the process, even though we find that most of us are struggling. And that is why programs of this nature are very important, because they help us to keep hope alive and ensure that we are able to get exposed to some of these things happening. I think the state police might be a very good innovation, or might be a very good policy. Just like every other person says, I think we have to be able to create a system that works for us. If you look at the health sector, you realize that you have the local aspect, which most of the times are the health centers. You have the secondary health facilities and you have the tertiary health facilities. Even though when you look at that as a model, you realize that the major problem of Nigeria is actually Nigerians, which is made complicated by the politicians. We have a poor understanding of what the value of life is and what the demands and responsibility of citizenship is. Showere is doing so much. Imagine if you have 1 million of Showeres, even though he might have his own excesses. But I commend the man, because you see, a lot of us want others to work for us to come and eat. It doesn't work out that way. Even if the democracy we're operating may not be the one that is according to textbook. And the young man that spoke from TYM earlier on, I will give him a laurel. The guy expressed the total truth. Even though his adjectives might be a little bit coarse, it's a statement of fact. The major problem in Nigeria are the politicians, including the Nigerians themselves. Every military coup that happened, the broadcast preceded with the fact that the politicians have always been either lawless, but either been all kinds of stories. However, one, where does population census and digital database of citizenry play, especially in the area of policing? Even for our banking and every sense, we don't even have a census. So how do you want to start in terms of policing? Number two, the religious aspect of it. I mean, how do you balance it? In the north or some states in the north, you have, is it Hisbah or what do you call them? Some of those religious policing. It's a policing in one way or the other. How do you basically balance that within this frame, knowing the fact that we are still hugely tribalistic? Nepotism seems to rule certain things. And the average Nigerian is a lawless individual. You will see that on the roads in Lagos. People don't obey the simple traffic light. It's a problem because there is no understanding of how that impacts on us. And finally, sir, why is it that there has not been some kind of academic positioning or the role of urban town planning in mapping out different regions or sectors that can be policed? Because even in Lagos, you have the Agberus, you have those street urchins, as you might call them. They have information that is on the street. So is there a way urban town planning can also play a role in state policing or smart policing? Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then the very last hand, Auntie Yemisi, please go ahead, ma.
Good afternoon or evening, everybody. Good to see you, my darling Jumoke, and our very erudite speaker and all my compatriots on the platform. Good evening to you all. I loved a little. I have been at another meeting, so I missed some of the discourse, but let me give Mr. Matthew Ibadin a big hug, because it's not a matter of applause alone. It's a matter of really appreciating someone who understands Nigeria and the processes we need to sort some of our problems out. And I'm not sure if I had met you, Mr. Ibadi, at the the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industries security briefing. I seem to think I met you there, correct me if I'm wrong, where the Navy, the Army, the police come and give a quarterly, or is it half yearly? I can't even remember now. Briefing on what is happening in Nigeria. regarding our security architecture. I think I met you in one of those programs.
Yes.
And the details that are given, it's just unfortunate that it is not well articulated or disseminated to the average Nigerian. And I think communication is some of the things we should try to address in this group. I know we're doing quite a bit, but Nigerians are just not aware of what is going on, what the challenges are, what is needed to address those issues. So thank you so much for giving us this information on this platform. And I think we as ALG will also take it forward to try and disseminate this information to the larger community. Well, my question to you is, we have been arguing for even community policing, not to talk of state policing, for years, for donkey years in the civil society sector. So we're happy that the federal government is doing something, because obviously we cannot go on the way we are going. We've got this framework that we're engaging with now. I would like to have an opportunity for you to engage with some of us who are working to build in our local government such processes, so that there's engagement with the police security architecture, there's engagement with the local government officials. You must have a hub, a way of ensuring that if there is a situation, the citizens are able to connect with whoever is able to address the issue. And response time must be very, very quick. So are we going to recommend police on the street, boots on the ground, to actually see that as you are passing in every corner of Lagos or Abuja or Katangura, there's a policeman, And then another thing that we keep hammering on is that the police must be resident within the communities. We have been saying for a long time that this police barracks is not what is suitable, that the police who are providing security for every community should live within those communities and be able to engage with the community, engage with the stakeholders, and also building capacity within those communities for engagement, for feedback, for alert systems. And the last question I have for you is, at one of the forums we've had on ALG, somebody recommended that there should be training for young people, starting from maybe secondary, where they get judo or taekwondo, and then, by the time you are doing your NYSC, you are able to defend yourself, so that whoever is coming to assault people have an idea that, they're not going to meet people who are not capable of defending themselves. So that's my last question. Let me thank you so much for what you're doing. And if you don't mind, I'm not sure I took your number the day we met at the Chamber of Commerce. If you don't mind if I ask from Auntie Jumoke your number, so that I can reach out to you again for more details of how we can strengthen the stuff we're doing. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Please go ahead and ask. That's fine.
Thank you very much. Please go ahead, sir. Those were the last three comments.
Okay.
If you could add your
Please,
closing remarks.
before I answer this question, please permit me to tell you my journey into security. Because it's always good to know your journey and know where you're coming from, so that everybody can learn from lesson learned. I was going to Benin. Before now, I'm into photography. I'm a photographer and I'm into media. I went to London School of Photography in Oxford Street. And I was taking pictures. I was going to Benin to go and do events. So I was going with my staff after Okada, before that Ovia River. I don't know if you know that area. Around 7 o'clock, before 7 o'clock, kidnapper blocked the road 9 years ago. So when they blocked the road, I just, about 12 vehicles, I just ran into them. They came out and picked up my stuff, and go to other vehicle and pick the other person. They took us inside the bush. 7 o'clock, we trek all the way to our destination, about 10 kilometers inside the bush. We arrived at our destination around 5 a.m. in the morning. And I pay my ransom. Then the ransom now is not as big as we are calling 100 million. I paid 1 million naira ransom then. So after paying my ransom, my vehicle was on the road. So the police from Okada now take my vehicle, and what I did is to take my 2 phones and put it under the seat. They took my car, they took to their office in Okada. So when they released me, I went there to go and pick the vehicle. When I got to the place, all my money inside the vehicle was intact. Nigeria police never steal my money. The money was intact, and they gave me my phone. So when I was in the kidnapping den, what do? I have to use my initiative to negotiate my ransom. I tell people, when you are being kidnapped, see, there are people you know today, they are being kidnapped, but they can never tell you because people don't want to share their kidnapping story. This is the reason why I'm into security. So I find myself in that mess. After 4 days, I negotiated with the kidnappers, I pleaded with them, and they accept 1 million naira. And I told my in-law, when you are bringing this money, don't try to be funny. Make sure you follow the instruction because I'm inside the bush. They will kill me. You won't see my dead body to pay. When I was in the bush, I see a lot of dead body inside the bush. People that were killed that could not even walk, and the rest of it. So in executive summary, so when I pull out, I went straight to Edo. I met some policemen in Okada there. They say they are at the kidnapper department. They now follow me to escort me to Benin. So I went to go and write my statement. I now say, okay, I want to see the CP of Edo State then. So when I got there, I asked the man, I saw some anti-kidnappers. What they are wearing is just ordinary t-shirts without bulletproof vests. The CP told me in the whole Edo State, they have only 11 bulletproof vests. I said, but if you have only 11 bulletproof vests, why not give it to their kidnappers that are supposed to enter the road? It's okay, because of you. He now gave them 9. So when I get out from the CP's office, the policemen came to grab me and hug me and be praying for me. They say in the history of Edo State, everybody they kidnap there, nobody have come to write statement. Talking to go and even see CP. If you call them, they won't answer your call. I'm the only person who have done that. Since that day, I make a vow. I said I want to go into security. So what I did is to go to the University of Lagos to go and pick a form to go and do my first diploma. When I finish, I go to police school to go and study Nigerian police to actually know what are the problem of what is causing insecurity. From there, I went to Nigeria Defense Academy. From Lagos to Kaduna, I was going to Kaduna for 6 years. I did my first master there, my second master there on security, and my PhD on defense and security study in NDA. Because I want to understudy what is causing insecurity in Nigeria. From there, I went to Switzerland to go and do intelligence management and psychological operation and deception. But I come to realize it is the government that is causing insecurity, not the police. Politicians are benefiting from insecurity in Nigeria. And the president is not getting the accurate analysis of what is going on. Because the president is not aware. It is the feedback people give to him, he uses as an evaluation. So that is where I come to realize. So the politicians in Aso Rock are not getting the accurate analysis from the feedback. Those people that work with them, they give the wrong information about insecurity in Nigeria. If you Google my name on Ibadin, you see my stand, articles, organizing conferences and symposiums and the rest of it. So this is what I did is to go and join PCROC in Victoria Island. I am the chairman, Police Community Relations Committee. So and see myself engaging with community. I support the police and give out information to help them, not to destroy them. So this is the reason why I am into security today. Because one, police did not steal my phone, they did not steal my car, they saved my car. But I have to see what can I do to contribute on how we can solve the security situation in Nigeria. I pity Nigeria police. As I said, Nigeria police is the best in the world. Why did I say so? Because they are working without the necessary tools. There is no police in the world that can work in such a draconian situation. They sleep in their office on the chair. They sleep inside the car. Nowhere to bathe. Go to their police station. It's appalling. No human being can live like that. So that is why I am saying, let me use this medium to just tell you my little biography of why I am into security. So that is what I have done. However, I will start with Madam Jumoke, what you said concerning engagement with the police and also seeing how we can set up community. As I said, there's a community layer already. That is why they have a police community relation committee, and we also have a neighborhood watch in Lagos State, for example. And if you look at some of the states, you find out that many people actually support their vigilante. Why I said that time that Pateco cannot do the work is that the weapon they are holding is their gun. We need AK-47 to AK-47 because you cannot use their gun to fight those people inside the bush. What they are holding is AK-47. It can take about 20 people at once. Whereby you before you try to use your day gun and start loading, the person is gone. So that we need a proper structure for us to be able to actually engage those people who are in the bush. But however, those in the bush, who caused their problem? It's still the government. Even in the Bible, the first thing God created was let there be light. Do we have light in Nigeria? The answer is no. Look at Ajakuta Steel that can take care of the whole Africa sub-region. Till today, is life fallow. This is the problem we have. Unemployment is the one causing insecurity. Sometimes government is the cause of insecurity. Even though you kill everybody, there must be people, you're going to kill the whole Nigeria. So let's look at the symptoms. That's why I said, first of all, Nigeria government is not getting the right information. Second, they are still the problem of insecurity because they refuse to create employment for Nigerians. This is where the problem lies. But however, that doesn't mean that we cannot play our roles. We should try to obey traffic lights. When we are driving, we should have driving license. If I may ask, everybody that have driving license on this platform, is everybody that have, do you go to driving school? The answer is no, not everybody. But we drive cars. When we are driving, we say, shake it to somebody. Do you know who I am? Who are you? This is the kind of problem we find ourselves. We have found ourselves in a very difficult position as a country, as a Nigerian. I asked a friend of mine, I said, if you are in London, you commit a crime in London, and the policeman say, let me, I want to know, please, can I meet with you? Will you call the London Commissioner of Police? The answer is no. But then they told me you have to call the Commissioner of Police, call your brother in who is a commissioner, who is a senator. How are they going to do their job? How are they on earth are they going to do their job? When you intimidate them, what they need to do is for them to just look for what to eat so that they can keep their job, to feed their family. So we are the problem as a nation. And I said earlier on before, I said Ganifa Awayemi was a great man. But Nigeria refused to vote. I think he have only 10 votes. Upon what that man did for Nigeria. So that means everything we are talking about is about stomach infrastructure. Know somebody that can actually liberate us from the shackle of oppression. So I think the other comments, the other people that spoke were just a comment as usual. As I said, my recommendation is crystal clear. Please, security, we are the security. You are a security. Try even in your home to see what you can do for the Nigerian police. We don't have any other police. It's our police. Let us see, even though you don't have a budget in your church before for your DPO, please have a budget. In your office, please tell your MD, or if you are the MD, tell them to have a budget where your office is located. In your home, where you live, please have it. Don't think it's too small. Support those police stations. When you are traveling, see what you can do for Nigerian police. They are not the problem. The problem we have is the government that caused the problem of Nigerian police. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for those questions, for your comments and your passion. And I particularly like your call to action and you encouraging we, the people, to get involved. And I'm not going to take you back and start asking questions, but I think that a message also needs to be passed on to the Nigerian police too, to also comport themselves in a manner that would attract respect from the citizens, and to also see the citizens as their supporters. And just to chime into your comments, we can't keep with the citizens. Part of what we can do is when we see something wrong, when we see the policemen being oppressed, we should also stand up. There was an incident that happened on Allen Avenue where a big man was driving a G-Wagon on a one-way street and the police stopped him, and he immediately called his friend. Again, who am I? A few citizens stepped up and stood by the policemen and said they are doing the right thing. You are endangering the lives of Nigerians by driving one way. And they collected the phone number and said, okay, you give us the phone number of whoever he's calling, and we want to keep in touch with you to make sure nothing happens to you. These are some of the actions we, the people, can do. When we start to rally around law and order, that it is not acceptable for, because you are a big man, you can take matters into your hands and risk Nigerians' lives. It's not acceptable. So I really like that clarion call to us, the people, to get involved. And thank you for your passion. It's very inspiring, the steps you took to be able to make a difference. It's really commendable. And my last question, what part of Edo State are you from?
I'm from Uromi, Edo State.
Okay,
I'm Ishama.
Uromi. Okay.
Yes.
I don't speak Isha. I only speak Benin, so I'm always very excited.
I did my primary and secondary school in Isha. I did my university at University of Lagos here.
Okay.
in Edo.
Domo. Thank you so much for your
Yeah,
time here.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate your presence, and I'm sure there will be more opportunities for us to engage and to come up with community involvement. You talked about the churches, whether it's the police in their neighborhood, so we can even talk about the different plans or strategies that organizations and communities can take on to support the local policemen. So we appreciate your time, and hope to see you again another time. Thank you, everyone. On behalf of the leadership here, Pastor couldn't rejoin, but he does send his greetings. I guess you heard his voice. Pastor Sonny is also here, but we want to thank everyone for joining us again this evening. It's good to have you, and we'll be back again, same time, same Zoom link next week. I think with this one, we are probably going to issue a press release. I think it's important enough for us to have documentation of the recommendations that were provided here. Okay, thank you all. Have a good evening, and we'll see you next week. Okay, I'm going to ask everyone.